Welcome everyone to another edition of Willow's Weather Briefing. Today is Friday, June 13th, 2025. We have an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms over central Montana. That includes cities from Great Falls to Billings. We also have multiple slight risks of excessive rainfall for portions of the Mississippi Valley, Eastern Virginia, and Northwest Gulf Coast. Mild day throughout the western United States with below average temperatures for much of the eastern U.S. associated with this rainfall and cloud cover. Much below average temperatures for portions of the northern plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes. Upcoming, we have a severe weather sequence that is going to make its way from this region of Montana, move its way east towards the Great Plains region central to northern Great Plains, and eventually make its way to the Midwest. We also have some rainfall risks for the next few days for the southeastern and eastern U.S. and migrating into the midwestern United States. We also have dangerous heat expected for portions of the desert southwest where temperatures will exceed 110 degrees, especially in areas like southern Arizona. If you would like a text briefing, then please refer to the description down below where that is there for you. Here's our drought monitor. The solid lines demarcate the areas of greatest concern with drought. Here's our current watches and warnings throughout the United States. Pretty quiet in terms of watches and warnings, but there is gloomy weather throughout pretty much the entire eastern part of the United States right now. We still have lingering flood watches for portions of the northwestern Gulf Coast. This is where we expect the most rainfall today, but we also have a flood watch for eastern Virginia, where another slight risk of excessive rainfall resides. Excessive heat watches over here in the southwestern United States, and also a red flag warning for western Nevada, including that critical fire weather risk today. So here is our current look at our surface fronts. Right now, we have a stationary front lingering across the northern United States right now, bringing us our severe weather threat for portions of eastern Montana this afternoon. This lingering front on the warm side is our influx of Gulf moisture that is making its way up into all of the regions. By tomorrow, we have this front still lingering around this area, bringing us some disturbed weather where there's moisture over here in the northern plains. We also have the lingering front over here in surface trough, bringing some lift and that influx of moisture from the south. By Monday, this front will still be sitting here, bringing us pretty much rainfall throughout the same areas over here in the plains and also in the east. Here is our excessive rainfall outlook. Day 1, we have multiple areas of excessive rainfall to look for. The areas of eastern Virginia, portions of the Mississippi River Valley down towards the Boston Mountains over here in eastern Oklahoma. Also the area down here in the northwest Gulf Coast. Most of these areas could see up to 5 inches of rain. The range is from around 2 to 5 inches for most of these risk areas, with up to 2 inches per hour of convective rainfall. Of particular concern, the highest risk out of all of these is probably this area of the northwest Gulf Coast, where 5 inches of rain is most likely and more widespread throughout this region. Moving on to day 2, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall for eastern Virginia and also portions of eastern Kansas into Oklahoma. Again, this is mainly for rainfall that could reach up to 5 inches, 2 to 5 inches with convective rainfall rates of about 2 inches per hour. Same deal here for the East Coast risk on day 3, Sunday. We have a slight risk of excessive rainfall for most of Virginia into areas of West Virginia, where we could see another day of 5 inches of rainfall. Eastern Virginia is going to have this risk uh, of excessive rainfall today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So watch out for saturated soils, especially around river regions where riverbed flooding might be around here. Day 4, no slight risk expected, marginal risk of excessive rainfall for portions of the northern plains into the Midwest region and also throughout the East Coast. On day 5, Tuesday, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall over portions of southern Minnesota into northern Iowa, associated with a possible convective system that will move through this area, associated with that cold front that will eventually push through. Here is our fire weather outlook. Critical fire weather risk for western Nevada. This includes cities like Sparks, Fernley, and Fallon, Nevada. Elevated fire risk for portions of southern Washington and northern Oregon, and also surrounding that critical fire weather risk over there. Day 2 fire weather outlook. We have elevated fire weather risks in southern Washington and northern Oregon, portions of there, and also a continuation of the elevated fire risk in portions of the critical fire weather risk today. Timeout. All right, so looking at our day 1 outlook, we have an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms over here in central Montana. This includes cities like Billings, Great Fall, Helena, Montana. This is mainly for a large to giant hail risk, but also damaging to destructive winds are possible around this area as well, along with a few tornadoes possible. Day 2, slight risk across southeastern Montana into western Nebraska. This includes cities like Rapid City, South Dakota, North Platte, Nebraska. This is primarily for a damaging wind and large hail risk, but a tornado or two is also possible. Day 3 outlook, slight risk across southeastern Montana into northern Nebraska. This is again probably primarily for a damaging hail risk. We also have a bunch of extended range slight risks over here, starting in areas such as the northern plains into the northern Midwest on day 4, Monday. On Tuesday, that slight risk will migrate south towards most of Nebraska into northeastern Colorado and northern Kansas. And then finally, with that cold frontal passage, we'll see a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over here in the middle to upper Mississippi River Valley into portions of the coast of Lake Michigan. Looking at our heat risk now, mild day throughout much of the United States, especially areas of the basin, southwest, and plateau regions of the western U.S. We also have mild heat across the eastern U.S., primarily for the eastern coast regions, the mid-Atlantic. But a lot of these areas will experience below average temperatures simply because of the cloud cover and rainfall today. Over the weekend, we have heat maximized in the southwest regions. Most of these areas, especially Phoenix and Tucson, will reach temperatures well above 110 degrees. Regions further east into southeastern New Mexico and into the El Paso region will have temperatures well into the 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Into early next week, we have this heat continuing off into the southwest, but expanding and migrating east towards the central to southern plains, associated with another ridge that is expected to build off into these regions. And finally, by midweek next week, we will have continuing heat across the southeast and mid Atlantic by mid to late week next week. Here's our extended range hazards. We have an excessive heat hazard for the southwestern regions, as we just discussed, and that heavy rain risk over here associated with our extended range uh, slight risks of excessive rainfall. And convection, of course, associated with that passage of the cold front and continued moisture flux from the south. Here's our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, June 18th through 22nd. Above average temperatures for much of the United States, the only exception being the portions of the northwestern regions, especially the Pacific Northwest regions. Here's our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, above average for much of the eastern United States and Pacific Northwest, below average for the Florida Peninsula and Basin Plateau Intermountain regions of the West. And finally, here we can just look at the timings of our severe thunderstorms in Montana. They will start possibly as early as noon local time and mountain time in Montana, then continue to grow in coverage. But we do expect the storm mode to be quite discrete and cellular across these regions and maximize in severity by the mid to late afternoon. Storms will move out of the area largely by early evening. That's going to be it for today. If you liked the video, please subscribe for any future weather briefings. And of course, if you want any specific information regarding your area, please refer to your local National Weather Service or broadcast meteorologists. Thank you and have a great day.